So he's Vice President of Community Relations for the Sacramento Rivercats. He's in his 12th season overseeing the Rivercats' community relations efforts. He's been active in 233 days of the year hosting school assemblies. Good grief. That's incredible. Field trips, parades, youth sports openers, fine arts and music, award assemblies, banquets, hospital visits, and sports clinics. Wow. He speaks to more than 160,000 students a year. Last weekend he was here in Rancho Cordova inspiring high school students as part of the Lancer Leadership Summit. Tony works directly with the Rivercats Foundation, the Rivercats Home Run Tours, AAA assemblies, nonprofit fundraising, community days at Rayleigh's Field, and more. The primary focus of Rivercats Community Relations Department is to provide programs with an emphasis on children and families. He graduated from La Sierra High School and Sacramento High University. Sacramento High University?
No,
Sacramento High University.
Now we know what he did there.
Yeah, now we got that all figured out. Through his year, he has served as youth program director for the Northeast YMCA of Sacramento. He's been a career center counselor for San Juan Unified School District and a community schools director for San Juan, and ran a small business here in Sacramento. Tony and his wife Nancy have 4 children and 3 grandchildren, and I think he's pleased to be with us today. Tony, welcome to Rancho Cordova. Looking forward to the time.
First of all, I want you all to know that you should only believe half of what you ever are told. My wife will tell you I am not that good. 12 seasons with the Sacramento Rivercats. How many of you have ever been to the Rivercats game? Nice. You know, the Rivercats, AAA affiliate of the Oakland Athletics. The way that works is that there are 30 Major League Baseball teams, there are 30 AAA teams. We own the building, we own the franchise. We sign a contract with a Major League team, it's the Oakland Athletics. They have spring training down in Arizona. They bring all their ball players in at the end of spring training. They turn to them and they go, you guys over here, you're going single A. You guys here are going double. You guys are going triple A. You guys in the back there, you're going to the big club. And that group in the far back, here's a bus ticket home. They provide the ball players, they provide the coaches, the manager. We do everything else. And it's a partnership that has been extremely successful. In 11 seasons in Sacramento, we have been 9 times South Division champions. Now, I'll take that. No other team in professional sports, in any sport in the United States, can make that claim. The closest team to us is the New York Yankees, who were 8 times division champions, and then some hockey team was 7 times champions. So the Yankees have the same ball players year to year. We're lucky to have the same guys from week to week. If you can imagine being a AAA manager in a situation where the rookies want to play, the veterans want to get back to the show, the Oakland A's are telling you, you got to play this guy at this time. The city of Sacramento, Rancho Cordova want to win, and he's got to please all of those people and make that happen. 144 games in 151 days. They get 3 days off a month. Besides the baseball, the great baseball there, and I'm telling you, it's great baseball because as a child, I grew up in this community, and I dreamed about being a baseball player. I'm 5'6". How tall? 5'6". I'm not 6'5". I don't throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I don't hit a ball 400 feet. But I dreamed about being a part of baseball, and I have 4 huge gold championship rings filled with diamonds. So gaudy. When you come to a Rivercats game, some of the people who park your car have that ring. Not all of them. Some of the people who sell tickets have that ring. Not all of them. Every coach, manager, and player has a ring. Some of the people who clean that stadium after you leave have a ring. Because in order to be a champion on the athletic field, in the classroom, at home, in your business, it takes everybody working back to back to back to create that championship. Now, like I said, when I was growing up, I dreamed about being a baseball player. And I was fortunate enough to have a coach, a teacher, who saw things in me that I never saw in myself. And each and every day that man would work hard to help us be successful in the classroom. If we did the work, he'd give us the resources. He worked hard to make us a good team player. And every day, that man would stand in front of my first period class, and he'd shake my hand as I came in. And he would ask me the same question every day. He'd say, "Tony, what's the word character mean?" And I would tell my coach, "Character is what you do." And my coach would say, "When nobody is looking." Character is what you do when nobody is looking. How tall am I?
6'5".
I thought about that and thought about that and thought about it. And you know how children can be very, very cruel sometimes with the things that they say? Well, I remember coming home in the 8th grade, walking up to my father, who was 5'5", and my mother, who was 4'11". And I said to him, "How come we're so short?" I thought about it and thought about it, and eventually my wife and I, we got married and we started to have a family, and I thought about it and thought about it, and we had 5 children, 2 boys, who are 6'4", 255 pounds each. Youngest son, Joe, sophomore in college right now, dreamed about going to college. Wanted to be a physical therapist more than anything in life. Joe was an average student like me. Did well in some classes, suffered in others. Joe played tackle on the varsity football team. He played first base on the baseball team. We had a rule in our house. Didn't matter what the coach said. Didn't matter what the principal said. I don't care about CIF. You don't do well on that test, you don't play football on Saturday. Before his last football game in his senior year, I walked in where he was studying on a Wednesday. See this huge man, bigger than me. I said, "Joe, I can't help you." And I watched a tear come down his cheek because he was so frustrated. He wanted to understand the whole lesson, but he just didn't get it. Anybody in here ever felt that kind of frustration before in life? Next day, he goes into his Spanish class to take his test, and they pass out the test booklets to all the kids. Joe opens up his test booklet, and written in the margin are all the answers to the test. Joe's not perfect. I'm not perfect. He gets up and he walks to his teacher and he says, "Mr. Garcia, somebody wrote all the answers to the test in this test booklet." Garcia says, "You do that, sir?" Joe says, "No, sir, I did not." Mr. Garcia didn't believe him and had him write his handwriting out to see if it was the same that was in the book, but it wasn't. So he gave him a totally different test to take. On Friday after class, he called me up at work. "Dad, I passed my Spanish test. I missed 7, but I got a C+. I'm playing football on Saturday." I go, "That's awesome, Joe." He said, "But the strangest thing, Mr. Garcia, he circled every one that I missed, wrote in the right answer, and put an A at the top of my paper." I said, "You ask him about that?" He said, "I did." I said, "Mr. Garcia, I missed 7. I deserve a C." Garcia looked at him and said, "No, son, you are a person of character. You deserve an A." I asked myself 100 times what I would have done in the same situation as Joe. Joe's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Finally, I got up enough courage to ask my son. I said, "Joe, you're a senior in high school. You're 18 years old. Last football game you're ever going to play for the rest of your life. Last Spanish test you're ever going to have to take. Who would have known?" He said, "I would have, Dad. If you cheat, does it hurt your teacher? No. If you lie, does it hurt your parents? Mm-mm. If you steal, does it hurt your friends? Not at all. Who's it hurt? Who? Repeat after me. Respect.
Respect.
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
Caring.
Caring.
Honesty.
Honesty.
Truthfulness.
Truthfulness.
Character is
Character is
what you do
what you do
when nobody's looking."
when nobody
That was a gift that was given to me by my coach. I'm sharing it with each business leader, with each leader in this community, from the youngest to the oldest. And I can say that. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. But if you put your choices up to that definition, you know what the right thing to do is. We have a lot of neat things that are happening this year at Raley Field. Besides just baseball games, there are concerts. Sugarland coming? And I think we're having this thing called Walk and Rock. Is that true? Anybody ever heard of that? Yeah, Walk and Rock. I think they're going to announce today that some group with paint on their faces and played in the 70s and what was the name of it? Kiss is coming to Raley Field. We've had Dave Matthews. We've had Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. We've had some great shows there, and some great shows are going to continue to come. If you like boxing, it's at Raley Field. If you like making a difference in the lives of the young people who will be the leaders of this community in the future, you can support them with a program at Raley Field. If you look on your tables, you can see the Interact clubs of Rancho Cordova and all throughout this community are having an Interact night. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you right now that for 11 seasons, we have led all of the Pacific Coast League. We've averaged over 700,000 a year for 11 years. 10,000 a night on an average. And 700,000 people are going to come. You all said you've been there. Why not come on a night where you support young people from Rancho Cordova High School?